Look, everyone, it's the dog alien. Gotta love an alien that always looks like he's groveling on my feet. Well, this time we're fast around and I'm scary. Every horse scene that you're in, I was just like, oh, look at me. I'm gonna get you if I ever catch up to you. That's a lot of smack talking coming from the third movie alien. Oh, yeah, well, this third movie alien's gonna kick your Guys, what are you even fighting about? Both of you guys' movies aren't even as good as mine. You know, sometimes the way that we talk, I can't quite understand what you guys are calling about.
Hey Rangers, welcome to Super On Point Reviews. My name's Steve.
My name's Arnes.
And today we're going over the Neca Aliens Genocide 2-pack with the Big Chap Alien and Dog Alien concept figures. If you guys don't know what these are aliens from the Genocide comic book, which is a Dark Horse comic, which the primary thing to take away from the comic is that we actually get to go to the aliens' homeworld in this, and there's actually a civil war going on between the aliens there, which is what this packaging is depicting. So what's really cool is we get to see Big Chap and the Dog Alien in new coloring. And I also want to point out that this is a Toys R Us exclusive, so if you guys are interested in this figure after the review, definitely recommend going and check it out there. And also again, we'd like to thank Neca for making this review possible.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now, funny thing is, I'm actually really excited to be getting into this packaging, but then again, I'm not. Because I actually, without further ado for the packaging, really love the way they present these figures in the box. Because you have them looking at each other, which looks really nice. Really love the front deco with the Alien Genocide, and you get the weird contortions that are very Alien-esque with the cool barren earth background in the back. Looks really nice, even on the side. The little spines and tails and everything kind of curl up. Looks really cool. And then on the back of the packaging, you just get to see some of the aliens in dynamic poses and some of the previous aliens released with the Red Queen and the Warrior Alien, and some of the other figures available in the line. And if you guys want to read the description for these guys, I will let you. Alright, we're good. Alright, and some Lego Mumbo Jumbo. So, let's get them opened up out of their plastic prison, Arnes.
I don't want to.
I don't either. Alright, now that we got these warring aliens opened up out of their plastic prison, first we'll go over the one accessory, which is their stand, which if you guys have seen the Dog Alien review, it's the exact same stand that we got with the previous version of the Dog Alien. Now, in that review, stated, not a big fan of the stand. Still not that big of a fan of this, because I really wish that this part here was articulated. Because what I want to do with this is put it around his waist. But I'm super terrified to do that because the one I had for my original Dog Alien snapped eventually.
Because of that?
Because of the stress I was putting onto this, because it's pretty thin overall, but I was hoping it'd be a little bit more pliable. And I've also had a lot of people commenting on that video having these same complaints for the stand here. And I kind of wish that they had a articulated hinge here as well, like you see on the Tamashis.
At least one of both sides.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the little arm here to go back and forth, maybe even could have been a little bit more down. And then here, have an articulated joint so it can go in and out, so you can clasp it around the alien's waist. Because with this stand, the only thing I really recommend, stick it on his tush. Use it right here. Keep him upright. Because if you want to have his tail doing what have you, it's going to do the job for you. And then you just adjust the legs appropriately. So if you want to have the tails doing random stuff, the stand will work for you. But again, I kind of want to have a little bit more versatility with the stand, and it having an articulated hinge would definitely greatly enhance that. Because if you want to have them running around on all fours, you can. It's primarily here just so that you could do crazy stuff with the tail without losing the balance for the figures. And even if you wanted to, you can even use it for Mr. Big Chap here as well. But since he stands up a lot higher than the Dog Alien, it's not going to be quite as secure without adjusting his legs, but still does a pretty good job overall. Alright, then going over their closer details first, we will start with the Dog Alien, which for the most part, exact same details that we got with the previous one. But I really love the color scheme for this guy. Because he has this very nice glossy crimson red paint job for the majority of the alien. But he has some black seam lining for all of his little intricate details, which makes all of these little creases, edges, and stuff that you see primarily on the suit and the skeletal structure for the alien stand out very well. even in comparison to most of the other dog aliens that I've seen, or even the one that I own. And it was something when I initially saw these things that I wasn't thinking that it was going to be that big of a concern, because for the most part I was like, oh, it's a red repaint. Whoop-de-doo. But the red just works so good on these aliens. Like, I almost prefer it more than the black.
I kind of actually do, because they stand out really nicely.
Yeah, because with it being dark on dark, there's a lot of details on the figures, but it kind of gets lost in the mixing of the colors. Well, on this, there's such a nice contrast between the blacks and the reds. And you even get this really nice pink shade here on the front rib cage, on the stomach sectioning here, and on little intersections for the little, what I like to call the membrane sections, are in a little bit more of a pinkish hue too. Then for his head sculpt, looks really nice too, where he has a translucent dome here so you can see the inside skeletal work for the dog alien. And again, just the contrasting colors really help to show the details on the inside of the skull here. Looks nice. And it has some gloss black here for the front frosting for the dome. Same with on the back here as well. And I also love too that you can see the metallic teeth on here very nicely, which is something too that with this red, they stand out a lot more than on some of the previous alien figures, which is really cool to see. They also have some gloss black here for the gums for the alien. And then getting his mini mouth out is actually not painted in any shade of red. It's pretty much the standard color you see with the very light skin tone gray.
You know what the message is, right, Steve? All the aliens are same on the inside.
Oh, that's so sweet. Then for the rest of his details, the neck has a lot of muscle definition on it. Looks really good. And same with the black lining. Really helps to make that stuff stand out. Kind of beating that like a dead horse, but it is true. It has these giant neck straps, which you see on a lot of the aliens. But one thing you'll notice on the back here is he doesn't have the tubes like, say, Big Chap has or your standard warrior alien. The dog alien had these flat little bony sections on the back. The same way coming down the back here, you don't have the spinal plating. It's pretty much just these little segmenting rows. On the front section, it has a really nice rib cage, and the abdomen looks really cool as well. And whatever this thing is called down at these bottom section, his arms are super lanky, super long, but it helps really well to get him into all four positions. Has 4 fingers with the little connecting bone structures, so technically I guess you could say he actually has 6 fingers, but 2 of them are connected.
They're fusing.
Yeah, it's always been kind of weird, but I always thought that was pretty cool with what they did with the aliens for that design there. For his legs, also very long, and something that's very unique for the dog alien until we got the isolation alien, which was kind of like a crossbreed between all the aliens. But you can see here that he has 2 bends at the legs. Unlike Big Chap here, which is very humanoid with its legs, this is more animal. And then you can even see where the feet are slightly different than what you see with most of the other Xenomorphs. And it has these giant pads on the bottom with a little peg hole there if you want to insert them onto a stand. And then for his tail, super long, and has this ginormous little, what I like to call the blade on the end of its tail, which is really cool on the dog alien. And again, the paint job on here just really helps to show off all the segmentation for each of the little plates coming along the tail here. It looks really good. Then for the dog alien's articulation, his head could look up about yay far, down about that far, can look to the left, to the right, has a little bit of a wiggle to it. His arm can go up about that far, down about that far, rotate all the way around. Has a rotation here at the elbow. Nice double joint at the elbow, so really good bend there. Can straighten up about yay far. Also has a rotation at the hand. It's on a hinge joint, so you can bend it forward and back. For his waist, he can arc back about that far, lean forward about that far, can rotate all the way around, and has a little bit of a wiggle to it there as well. His legs can go out about that far, inwards about that far, and if you shift the arms, they can rotate all the way around. Same with the back section. Has a rotation here at the upper part of the thigh. Has a double joint here at its first knee. So you get a really good bend there too, where it can connect to the thigh. And the second joint is only a single, so it can straighten up about that far, bend inwards about that far. And then you also have a little articulated joint here at the foot, which can rotate a little bit, move about that far forward, that far back, and no real wiggle to it there. And that tail is just rubber with a bendy wire on the inside of it. So pretty much compose that however you want. But like I do say on a lot of the alien figures, just be a little bit wary over time that the wire on the inside of it, with enough stress, could possibly break. But I have been noticing that the wire on these are actually still pretty thick, so they are fairly durable. And, forgot to mention, it also has a rotation here at the top part of the tail as well. And then for Big Chap here, for his details, mostly the same as the dog alien, with the red paint job really making all that skeletal structure stand out very nicely. And he even has that little pink in the membrane section as well, but nothing really on the rib cage, which is a little bit sad to see. But for the head sculpt, it's done very nicely. There's a little bit of that pink on the side here for the tubes, where you also have the tube running from the lower jaw here and more pink on the membranes close to the mouth. Which, with these tubes, just be a little wary when articulating him. These can rip off if you get a little too crazy with that. So just be a little bit careful with articulating his head. Don't go too crazy trying to rotate it all the way around, because it's not happening. But you also see that his little mini mouth wants to come out and visit us, which looks really nice. And I do like that this one's open. It looks really cool. It gives it that really nice menacing appearance, especially from the front. And again, just on these figures, I love just how well the teeth stand out on them.
They're shiny.
Super shiny with metallic silver. The dome on the inside is not quite as detailed as what we saw with the dog alien. It's more standard like what you see with pretty much every other Big Chap figure, where it has a little bit of details on the inside, but you also have some lining work there to represent a lot of the cracking and stuff that you've seen from the film. And it has this little frosted black going all the way around the dome. Looks really good overall. And it just with the color contrast really actually helps to make the top section here stand out a lot more. And then for his shoulder pads are super shiny, which also stick out very nicely. His rib cage looks really good as well. Same with the little abdomen section here, looks really nice too. For his arms are very humanoid, except for the actual hands, which again have the 4 fingers here, but technically like 6 fused together. And his elbow has this little bony protrusion sticking out the back of it, which I would recommend being a little bit careful. It is flexible, which is nice, but it's something I imagine if you get too crazy with it, this could possibly break off.
You know what that means, right, Steve? We're gonna have to make him do the people's elbow.
Just, huh. And then on the back here, you have his tubes coming out the back, which are a little bit different than what we've seen previously with the Alien vs. Predator aliens, where they don't have like the tentacle suckers on the bottom of them. And personally, I really love these little tubes on them. And then you have this giant crest coming out of the back of the neck here, which on ours is a little bit loose, but it does pop back in very easily. Nothing too crazy, just had to use a little bit of a hairdryer to get it back in. Then you can see his spine coming down the back here, which does protrude a little bit out of the body, which is really cool. It kind of gives him that Godzilla-like feature.
Looks like a zipper, to be honest with you.
Yeah, kinda. Which the spine does elongate into the tail, which is really nice. And then he has his super thin tail, just like what we expect to see on a Big Chap, with his little blade on the end of his tail as well.
Steve, that ain't a knife. This is a knife.
I'm taking that knife. And then finally for Big Chap's legs, very humanoid in appearance as well, with a lot of the tubes running down the side of the legs. You can see some of the membrane on the front section and on the back as well, with these little knobs on the kneecaps. You notice that?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's not quite straight with the leg. Because you'll notice with this leg, it's fairly straightened. This one, a little bit cockeyed. Kind of looks like he might have had a fall accident.
So when he got, impregnated a human, it was a cripple.
Who do I feel sorry for, the alien or the cripple? I don't know anymore. And then for his feet, it has these 4 toes with this really dark bone color for the nails, which is kind of odd to see on these little alien figures, because usually I'm so used to seeing the metallic silver. And it's not quite that color. It's like a very off gray.
Well, maybe they were trying to keep it different, because technically these are different aliens from a different series, planet, however you want to say it.
Yeah, that is true. So detail-wise, nothing too crazy, just pretty much what I was expecting out of a Big Chap, but I just love the color scheme for these figures. And then for his articulation, head can look a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but again, you got to worry about the little tube here. Can look not a whole lot up because the spine on the back gets in the way, and a little bit down. Got to work that joint in there. So you can look about that far down. And then also has a little bit of a wiggle to the head here. Shoulders can go up about that far, down about that far, rotate all the way around. There's a rotation at the upper part of the bicep, rotation at the elbow, but his elbow only has a single joint, unlike the dog
it's not
alien.
doubled?
It does not have a double joint because he's based off of an older mold.
Sad freaking day.
Then for his hand, can rotate all the way around, can swivel in and out. But then again, actually coming back to the elbow, it's not a big deal that it doesn't have the double joint, because when the heck in the entire film do you see the alien actually like keeping his arms fully together for the most part? When he's going to be trying to kill somebody, it was always hands straight out, just, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
I feel like I should give him a machete and just let him do a Jason movie.
For his waist, can rotate all the way around. Has a little bit of a wiggle to it. Can move forward about this far. Backwards about yay far. His legs have a really decent split to them.
Whoa.
Can move inwards about that far because this part is actually made out of soft rubber. So it has a lot of flexing to it. His leg can go forward about that far before it starts coming into contact with the rubber there. Backwards about, we get out about that far. A little bit of rotation at the upper part of the thigh. No rotation at the knee, but the knee has a double joint.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
So it does bend very nicely there. And then for his foot, can move forward about that far. Backwards about that far. Can rotate all the way around. And has a little bit of a wiggle to it. And the tail on him is a bendy wire rubber as well. But this is the one I'm a little bit more wary of messing around with than the dog alien. So for a quick comparison, here we have the big Chap and dog alien from Genocide compared next to some other Neca alien figures with the original release dog alien. And the closest thing I had to a big Chap that was open anyways, which is the isolation alien. Which I gotta say, even having them stand here, you can see just how well the red stands out compared to the more darker tones that we have with the more classical iterations of the aliens. And here they are compared next to the deluxe size alien queen from Aliens.
Steve, it's the wrong queen, man.
I know, I don't have the red queen. I'm
Why
sorry.
don't you have the red?
I know a lot of
queen,
people
Steve?
wanted me to get it, but I didn't read the comic books prior. I'm sorry.
You know, it's okay. I will solve this issue. You got some red dot paint?
Don't you touch my queen. And here they are compared next to some other NECA alien figures with Amanda Ripley from Alien Isolation and the Warrior Xeno from the film Aliens.
Hey, Steve, we're missing one comparison, though. In all our videos, we compare it to the next figure that'll be coming out. So, our last figure is what?
Because here he is compared next to the giant 1/4 scale translucent prototype alien from the film Alien. So overall, the NECA Genocide Alien 2-pack with Big Chap and Dog Alien, I like this pack. I like this pack a lot more than I thought I would. Because for the details, the articulation, it's what I was expecting out of NECA, because they're exactly figures that we've had previously, so I already knew I would enjoy them for that aspect. But I love the way the coloring really helps to bring out the details in these figures.
Well, not just that. Like, even like when you put them on your shelf, they really stand out.
Yeah, as you see with comparisons with most of the other alien figures, even some of the ones that I would consider my more favorites, like the NECA Queen, they really do take your attention away from those standard looking aliens and draw you towards these more brightly colored crimson aliens that look like they've been skinned alive.
Hey, Steve, you know what that means, right? These guys are convincing you that you should get the Red Queen. Because imagine how pretty she will be in a red color, Steve.
I'll let you have that one.
But it's $104, man.
Now you welcome to my world. But here's the thing. Would I recommend these over the more movie accurate aliens if you're an alien fan? I would have to say, if you want movie accurateness, you're going to want to be looking for the standard releases over the Genocides. These are going to be mainly geared towards fans of the Dark Horse comics or people that like having more unique aliens in their collection. Wanting something that gives your shelf a little bit more variety.
So it's like me and Steve. Steve is more of a accurate guy. I'm more of a weird guy, so.
Yes, legit figures, Arnes bootlegs. You get it. Also, I want to say that I think these guys would be kind of cool next to normal Predators because you can have them hanging up like the skinned humans. I think that would actually look really cool with these guys.
Some pictures idea, Steve.
Maybe right here. So if you own previous versions of these characters and aren't really into the Dark Horse comics, then I'd say you're perfectly fine just having those figures in your display. But if you don't already own these guys, want something with a little bit more variety, and love comic books, then definitely pick up the Genocide Alien 2-pack. But what do you guys think of these figures? Have you guys read the Dark Horse comic, or is DC more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. Look closer to pictures of these guys on our website if you want to click the link in the description below. We also have a Patreon account if you guys would like to help support the channel, also in the description below. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. See you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.